Hello world, welcome to my channel, Proteus Augustus. I'm an artist, scientist, and American Constitutionist. Today is February 18th, 2021. I'm in Colorado on my Plan B. My last video, I was talking about my federal case. I have more to say about that, but today, I just want to communicate a little bit of cultural difference in Colorado within these United States. What I don't understand is, well, no, I think I do understand now. These people are these people are aggressive in a way. It's passive aggressiveness, like, just ignoring you is an act of aggression in some ways. It depends if you understand the human mind and why people do those things. I mean, especially if, people can't even be bothered to give you common courtesy. When I grew up, please, thank you, things like that. I do that all the time. I don't care if I know the person or not. I mean, it's just, courtesy of the day. Well, I think the lack of a oversight of the state law enforcement agency in this area tends to make some law-abiding citizens somewhat aggressive. It's like, they're in the Wild West. They feel like they got no support. I mean, listen, I don't even care. If I have a gun on my property, I'm going to do what I got to do to defend myself. I'm not going to make a phone call. But, people want to make a phone call to somebody. And it's gotten to the point where they call the cops over, somebody telling someone to fuck off or something. I mean, sometimes people, they cross boundaries. And you have to tell them, listen, you're crossing the boundary here. You need to step back. That's happened to me more than once here in Colorado. And I hear a lot of no, no, no. And so today, because my license and my registration is part of the federal case, at this point I have to surrender my license. So I'm prepared to get a ID in the state of Colorado. Now, what happened out of that is an insight into how the state of Colorado operates and what the Democratic Party wants to do to this whole nation. And that is collect a paycheck for no return at all. I mean, little return now, but no return. Listen, if they hire people just to answer the phone to tell you that they can't do anything for you to go on the internet, then those people need to be canned. It isn't necessary. All the state has to say is, look, we're not going to answer the phone. We're not even going to pretend, that we're going to service our customers, And now that the buildings are closed, when we go back to normal, these people want to get paid to do nothing. They're going to make us do all the work, enter the data, everything into the system. So if you're some poor bastard out there off-grid with no internet or anything, or you have difficulty reading, or whatever kind of issue you may have, you can't be an independent person. They're going to force you. Listen, I talked to this guy on the phone today for the Colorado DMV, and he thinks he's some kind of counselor or something, right? Told him I don't have internet service right at the moment, and I got so much to read. I got to prioritize. With my condition, I can read and understand, but it's very slow process for me, and I have to take breaks, okay? And I'm not afraid to admit that now, right? I wasn't afraid to admit it before, but I mean, I think at this point, people need to understand that some people have issues with reading. And everybody now, all of our government agencies and everything else, listen, if they're not going to service people on the phone, then they need to go home. We need to start letting these government employees go. Especially, look at what, now, before I go on with that, let's take a look at the fact that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are two private parties. They are not the government. The government is our institutions by and for the people, okay? in order to conduct ministerial duties or other things. But over the years, these two private political parties have passed a lot of laws that catch you in these paper traps. Okay, and it doesn't matter how honest of a person you are, and then they'll use that against you to make it somehow nefarious. So let's look at my situation right now. I came to Colorado in June. Like I said, I did everything I was supposed to do. I have property. I'm on a county road. I paid access to my property from the county road, and they're not giving me an address, right? So now I can't drive my car, right? I'm a disabled person, okay? And, so now I got to deal with Virginia, okay? I mean, I had a grace period, I think, until December or whatever it was, because I had my taxes paid up till December. And I still can't get anything done. I couldn't get anything done in Colorado, right? So no matter how honest of a person I want to be, I'm in this paper trap. Primarily because the state of Colorado is bifurcated with their driving, and, so they can strand you because you're so far out there, and they know it. And it's like one extended family basically ruling over a couple other extended families. There's really not a lot of people there. And they're probably indigenous to the area going back, 100, 200 years or whatever. A lot of them. That's how they maintain control. That's how these little communities work. I mean, but when they become vicious and there's no state oversight, okay, then there's a problem for a person like me that wants to move to Colorado. I had a guy today, I was just trying to, talk to the guy a little bit, right? And the more aggressive he got, not with his tone, but in just his, one of my things is I'll see right through you. I don't know why other people can't see other people for who they are. But people always will show you who they are, even if it's a glimpse for 20 seconds. If you can engage with a person. But anyways, I mean, people, they ignore you. I don't understand what they have to gain by ignoring, Anyways, so I call up Colorado, getting back to this dude, and he thinks he's a counselor. I tell him, listen, I can't get on the internet. I called the schedule number last week. They were supposed to call me back, never called me back. This was like last Thursday, so that's Thursday, Friday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today's Thursday, right? Today's Thursday. Excuse the phone. So, I mean, how long is a citizen supposed to wait before they get the call back? So to me, it's basically a fraud. I mean, in any state I've been in, even in big cities like Boston, or, Fairfax County where I live, I mean, I could go to a registry anywhere. It might take me 3 or 4 hours, but I'll be done by the end of the day because people have to show up to get their business done. Some things are pushed off onto online. But if a person doesn't have online capability and you set up policies that make it difficult for them, that's how paper traps occur. And I got caught in this paper trap. Basically, I saw it coming. I put in an injunction to the court. I asked them to protect, my right and privilege to drive. I got the state of Colorado in there, right? And, we'll see how this works out. But, I mean, it's just amazing how an honest person like myself. Now, listen, any of you out there that think you got an angle on me, speak up and be recognized. And the other thing is, I don't like people telling me to watch what I say. I know what I say. I intend to say it. And there's always a reason behind what I say. Okay, so if I said President Biden is a criminal, I mean that, absolutely. And I believe I could prove it in public, You know what I mean? In front of a jury. I could take what they have now, go to a grand jury, right? And then, if they can get an indictment against them. A sitting president, he could be impeached, but I mean, that doesn't mean that an indictment can be brought. It might not be executable until he's out of office, but once you bring in an indictment, Congress is obligated to get rid of him. I don't care if he's part of a party or not. And this is where, the situation is going, right? And that all boils down to like the DMVs and all the states. It boils down to all the Social Security administrations, the VA, okay, because they have to hire people that are connected to these parties. That's what happens here, people. You try to get a job at the VA. You try to get a job at the federal government. But I'll bet you, and I've looked. You could look at trees and certain parts of institutions and look at names. Okay, and I know for a fact my family, not me. I'm just a nobody. But my other siblings, tend to have done very well with respect to that kind of social engineering, I would say, because in my opinion, that requires a little bit of giving up who you are as a person. People could tell me to their blue in the face, I gotta act a certain way, but I'm a human being. I'm gonna be Ron Borden. All right? And if I think you're trying to snow me or blow smoke up my ass, I'm too old now. I ain't gonna play games with you. I might have been amused before, but I ain't got time for people like that. Okay? And getting back to this, keeping score, I says to the guy, I says, yeah, so is that how you guys operate around here? You keep score, And the guy, this is a truncated version, but the guy then says, yeah, well, that's why you don't have any friends. And I said, yeah, that's right. Because to me, those aren't friends. That's business. I could pay anybody to do anything for me because basically you're paying with your time. Time is money. I don't have time to hang around with some dude just so he can help me out when I get in a jam. I figure out what resources I need to be an independent man, and I employ those resources to my advantage, such as, let's say, AAA. Another story. AAA, these guys down here, they ain't servicing me. It's unbelievable, that these nationwide organizations, in some cases international organizations, and even the public institutions are very prejudiced here. I thought I never expected this. And the distances are so far, and the population is low, and they have no state force here. They may have what they call a Colorado Bureau of Investigation, but they have no field guys, like I said before in the other videos. So these local police agencies are on their own. And you know where that leads. Come on, man. I don't give a shit what anybody says about me, but I know human beings. And when you leave a group of human beings alone without any oversight, sooner or later, the miscreants bubble to the top, man. Because, the guys that have some kind of line, they'll cross no problem. And that's where we are today. And I'll say that to any of them right to their face. Okay? Because it's still a free country. And if you're going to sit and govern and use your positions of privilege that are given to you by the populace, then I have a right to criticize you. You don't get to walk around and criticize me like that. And it's getting pretty close to where, these guys, they want to be the CCP, the Democratic Party, and some of these Republicans. They want, when they start using words like talking about the Capitol as hallowed ground or sacred ground, listen, this is crazy. It's a building. It's a public building. They start using words like that, okay? Because like I said in one of my papers in my art project, a lot of these people use religion and belief to manipulate people. So when they start using words like that, that instills shame in people. Like somehow they're attacking a church. No, no. The Second Amendment in this country is legal. And its sole purpose is to get rid of the real insurrectionists, these private parties. The Democratic Party is the insurrectionist party. We have a president that is basically working with the CCP, looking the other way the other day, okay, on mutilation and murder of people. You know, I mean, this is crazy. He's supposed to be an American president. And people try to tell me there's something wrong with me. Maybe I don't have Asperger's. Maybe I'm just totally normal and everybody else is fucking loony. Okay? I don't get it. No. There's plenty of people like me. We're the ones, that, are normal. I'm not, with respect to certain aspects, but come on. I ain't out there fucking, talking this nonsense. It's crazy. Anyways, a couple of thoughts there. I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but that's what happens sometimes. I'm sitting here in this room. I feel like I'm in prison. Okay, I'm protected by the elements. It's been pretty cold. My car's out of commission. I might have to go to Plan C, which may kill me, quite frankly. I mean, I don't want to be around all these people. But, these people are taking everything I got, so I have to, use it to fight them. And if I spend all my money on luxury, which essentially this is a luxury, I mean, I'm very comfortable. But if I spend all my money on luxury, I got no power. I can't fight. And without friends, people that ain't going to be taking score, because I don't, listen, it don't take a whole lot to help people a little. It's not like you're asking them for money or anything like that. Same thing about love, I mean, real interesting. Just let me make this comment because even though I don't talk a lot about myself, I'm talking about the case, brings myself in, maybe I talk a little bit about myself. And maybe people need to hear that, like what my perspective is, because apparently I'm not, like some other persons, right? I'm just one in billions, right? So it could be a clone or a double ganger out there that looks like me, but they ain't gonna be me, really, inside. Especially not with all my broken bones, right? Anyways, let me take a break. I'll be back in a second.